how I got out of poverty in 2 years. I'm going to explain to you here step by step. And guess what? I have actually outlined 3 steps on exactly how this happened. And as always, this is Good Joseph. Guess what? I try the best I can to share these tips with you, not because I know everything, no, but because I'm a believer. Just like an iron sharpens another iron, so do we learn from each other. Let's get on the business, all right? And by the way, in case you need to contact me for any financial services, investments, that is my number written out there, okay? These are my 3 steps that I used, okay? Now, step 1, first of all, for those who do not know me, I am a graduate. Particularly, I went to Maseno University. And I graduated hoping to get a job, and I did not. And you're watching here, and you're that. This is exactly what I did. Once I graduated, I realized that the degree is not working for me. I applied many jobs as possible. You know that website called My Jobs? I used to apply like almost 10 jobs per day. That was my target. I never got a single. Up to date, I have never been employed. What did I do as the first step? When the reality kicked in and I realized degree will never help me, or it's not helping me, I never blamed anybody. First of all, the first thing, if you want to get out of poverty, do not blame anybody and be accountable. So no blame. I accepted that the degree won't work for me as of that particular time. So what I did, I had to put the degree aside and hustle like a dropout. I now started. For those who have been with me for a long time, somebody like Triple T, there is a certain wonderful lady who has been with me since I had 1 subscriber. 1. Forget about right now, I have, I don't know how many. 1 person watching me. She's called Triple T. She has a YouTube channel. Anyway, I used to paint. This is what I got, a manual job of painting. I used to do painting like these ones and what have you. I used to earn 1,000 Kenyan shillings. Those videos are on my YouTube. Go check on 4 or 5 years ago when I started YouTube. I was making those YouTube videos on apron with paints on my hands and all over the place. Go check, scroll to my older videos. For those who do not believe, you go check those videos out there, okay? Now, I used to work as a painter, and I used to earn 1,000 Kenyan shilling. For those who do not know what is 1,000 Kenyan, that's like, in terms of US dollars, that's like 7.5 US dollars, like $7.5, you know, $7.50. That adds up to like 1,000 shilling in Kenya. And guess what? This job was not consistency. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. So what exactly did I do? I rolled up my sleeves and hustled. And then, of course, I had bills to pay. I had to eat, I had to dress and pay my rent. Some things were to remain constant. So I figured out, how do I manage my 1,000 shilling every day? What I used to do, I used to live on half of what I earn, 50%. That's why I always tell you people, if you can live on 50% of what you earn. So I figured out, how do I survive on a 500 Kenyan shilling? And that is exactly what I did. It was training. I won't deny you. I will tell you the truth. Sometimes, true, I was not that disciplined. Sometimes I could save 300, sometimes I could save 400. But what was my aim? Seriously, that now takes me to the step number 2. On a very serious note, unless I lie to you guys, even if I saved that 500 shilling continuously, even if you take 5 years, whoa, I mean, it's very hard to create wealth with 500 shilling or 300 shilling. That's like 15,000 per month. If you multiply that by 12 months, that's like, you're still even not in the zones of 300 or 500 or something. You're still not doing great. So I had to ask myself, with my 500 shillings saved every day, or let's even work with 300 shilling, I knew I cannot get out of poverty with these 300 or 500 only. So I had to ask myself, apart from this 500 shilling that I'm saving every, because back then I had the mentality of saving, what do I do with this 500? And actually, what is the target to work with? Then I asked myself, apart from me being a graduate and waiting for me to be employed, what else can I be of value to the society? What else can I do? Are we together? Some people are singers, others are musicians, others are whatever the thing you do. I realized that I have a vast knowledge on money and wealth and everything creation. Because I remember I used even to rub shoulders with my friends. We sat down when we are paid at the end of the week. For those who are know in Kenya, most places we are paid on Saturday. We used to sit down and I told them, hey, this is not how you use the money. With the small knowledge that I mean, I was like, you know what? These guys used to listen to me. I tell them, hey, guess what? How much have you been paid? 6,000. Fine. Okay, take 2,000, do this, take 1,000, put it for the rent. Like I used to, and they could actually come to me and they were asking me, hey, Joseph, by the way, what you told me, whether it's working here, by the way, those just things that you say out of blues. And I was like, oh my goodness, then I have this knowledge. How can I make this knowledge available to people in large numbers? You get what I'm saying? So I had a target, and my target was to buy a phone that can make good videos, because I didn't have a good smartphone. Actually, I didn't have a smartphone. I remember the first video I posted, I used my sister's phone. I went to her home, I borrowed the phone, I uploaded. Apparently, my first video, if you go check on my YouTube, I've never deleted it. I intended to talk about marriage anyway, but along the way, I changed the idea. So I intended to buy a phone. It costed me 15,100. I still have that receipt. 15,100 Kenyan shilling. That's like 102 or 12, thereabout, $110 or thereabout. Now, why was I intending to buy this phone? Because I believed with a good phone, I can make videos such as this. I post it. I won't get paid. I won't get any money. Probably I won't get any client. I'm just gonna put myself out there on the social media, and probably one day people might actually contact me, contract me, YouTube will pay me and all those kind of things. You get what I'm saying? So that was now the leap of faith. The step 2 was actually faith and action. Faith, believing that one day I'm gonna go out there. Action is now making those videos consistently without actually failing. Now, this is what I did. I saved my money. This is where I used to buy some small, shares and what have you, thereabout. And then, of course, I hit my 15,100. I bought my first phone and I made my videos consistently. And guess what happened? People used to condemn me. Hey, you're talking about money. You don't have money yourself. If you have all these tips and ideas to save yourself, to save people, why don't you save yourself? Truly speaking, if you go watch those videos, I was in a sorry state and I was talking about money. What an irony. But I never shied away. I kept on pushing, pushing and all those kind of things. I remember I used to be, is it condemned or whatever on my TikTok channel or something like that. But anyway, I never gave up, okay? Now, this is what happened now. After 1 year and 4 months, that is when my YouTube channel was monetized. In other words, that's when the YouTube started paying me. Are we together? 1 year and 4 months, that's when YouTube started paying me. And my first salary on YouTube was around 13,000 Kenyan shilling. 13,000 Kenyan shilling, that's like $110, $102. Forget about, in my home, I usually have some birds here. Now, that's the first salary that I got on YouTube. And guess what? I was so happy. Why? Because I knew the 500 that I'm saving from my normal manual jobs and plus the 13,000 that I'm getting at the end of the month. Guess what? If I'm saving 15K on this side and the YouTube is paying me, assuming that YouTube will forever and never pay me just 13,000 without growing, that means I have 15,000 and 13,000 I have. Guess how much I'm having? 28,000 being saved every month. And guess what? That is exactly when I started now buying shares and investing consistently every time. I remember the second salary on YouTube, I was paid around 19,000 or there, about 20,000 or something like that. Anyway, the rest remained history. So I started earning on YouTube to a point whereby now whatever was being paid on YouTube was equivalent to what I was actually paid on the painting job and what have you. Guess what? What would you do? I shifted from now painting and I focused on making these videos. This is where I started writing books about finances, how to invest, how to grow your wealth. I started selling my books. I started offering consultancy and all those kind of things. And that is exactly how everything shifted. By the time I was clocking 2 years, I was fully into this. I bought the equipment, microphones such as this, these boards, this lighting, other production equipment, these computers that I'm having and everything that I'm having, contracting people who edit my videos and what have you. That is exactly how the things changed. And guess what? On the step 3, this is where now I started leveraging. To leverage now is to open other social media. I have a presence on YouTube. I have a presence on Facebook with close to 500,000. I have a presence on TikTok. For those who do not know, I have over 1.1 million people following out there. Collectively, I have over 2 point something million people following me out there. Are we together? So I started now leveraging on that, being invited on seminars, going to different places. I can tell you, just because of social media and what I do, the people I have met. I remember the first not TV, the radio channel that I was invited was a Milele FM. That's where I was invited by a wonderful guy called I remember there was a lady called Will Broder and the other guy Francis Luchivia. That's what the first person who invited me on Milele FM. Shout out to you, my good friend Francis Luchivia. And I went there. People were not even believing. I still have those videos. I remember I also posted those videos on YouTube here on the community, and that's how things changed. Was I sure that all this will happen? Honestly, I had faith. I will tell you. Some of you may say, hey, Joseph, you were lucky. True, there were some elements of being lucky. That's for sure. But you see, luck didn't just meet me at home. I actually went out there and did what I was supposed to do consistently and actually working as hard as I can. This is what I always tell people. I can tell you for sure. Creation of wealth, you don't only need hard work. You need combination of both hard work and also luck. I always tell people, this is analogy that I usually use. This is hard work and this is luck. When they meet or where they meet, that is where we call success. Are we together? So you work as hard as you can, remain consistency and a believer, and I can tell you one day you reach here. Now the point here is, because I don't want this to make it sound like as if it's a motivation. I'm not a billionaire. I've not reached those levels and what have you. I'm just a guy who's trying to make it out there and of course sharing the ideas out there. But of course, the levels of the billionaires and trillionaires, that's where we are heading. But how do we get there? If you're out there, probably you are a graduate, you're employed, you have a small business running. How exactly do you get yourself out of the situation? First of all, there must be a very heavy denial. Me living on 300 or 500 or something like that was truly a denial. I had option because I had friends who were drinking when we were making 1,000 shilling a day. People were drinking. Up to date, some of my guys are still drinking. So the point here, I'm not saying that, don't drink or something like that. The point here is there is a lot of sacrifice that you have to go through for you to get out of the situation or the class that you are in. That salary that you're having, sometimes I tell people, try to ask yourself, save or invest larger percentage as you can. You want 30,000. Figure out, how do you survive on 15? How do you survive on 10,000? Are we together? I know that might even force you to migrate from where you live, change the location, change all those. If that means for the next 2 years or 3 years for you to change your life, so be it. You'd rather, sort of like sacrifice and don't have for the next 3 years and have it the rest of your life. That is exactly what I did. And these small things that I usually tell people, hey, you know what? You have 300, you have 200, you have 20 shilling or whatever. Sometimes it appears as if, in Kenya we call it stories that jabba, simply means like as if you're a joker or something, but it works. Sometimes I tell people, even if you save $1 every day, you are $1 away from poverty. Even if you save $2, you're $2 away from poverty. Truly, if you save, say, 300 every day or say 1,000 every month, that is 12,000, at the end of the year. Has not made you wealthy, that's for sure. But at least you have 12,000 purchasing power that you didn't have. I'm gonna end this video giving you a very simple example I gave some guys in a place called Choka in Nairobi. Okay, actually it's in Machakos for info, but people say it's Nairobi. Anyway, these are guys who their work is actually fetch water using donkeys and carts and sell it to people. And these guys were struggling in making in life, and that is the life-changing story that I ever gave. I was invited there to advise them or talk about investments and what have you. They were telling me how it is impossible to actually get out of the poverty. And I used one case scenario and I asked them, are these donkeys and carts yours? They said, no, we actually borrow. And then we pay at the evening. So how much do you borrow? A donkey goes for 300 and a cart goes for like 200 or something. So like 500. So I asked them how much a donkey would cost. They said 6,000. Fine, let's figure out how do we own our own animals if that's what means that it's gonna change your life. I said, are you able to save 100 every day? And everyone was like, yeah, I can save 100, even 200. I was like, no, I don't even want you to save 200. Just save 100. 100 every day, how much is it in terms of a whole month? 3,000. Are we together? How much is it in terms of a whole year? 36,000. If you were to buy a donkey, how many would you buy? 6 of them, assuming one going for 6,000. Good, fine. Let's say you don't buy all donkeys, okay? Let's say you buy like 4 donkeys, and then the rest you buy some several cards. Now ask yourself, assuming that you take one for yourself, you do the business. Now the 500 that you used to borrow is no longer given out there, it's yours, so you can save it. But 2, you are remaining with 3 donkeys. This one now you can also lend other people as you are lending, as they were lending to you. Now you have 3 other people bringing you, say even 300, that's 900. 900 plus your 500 plus your savings, how much are you saving? If this year you saved that 6,000, how much you would save next year? How much would you save the other year? And how much would you see what I'm saying? And they were like, wow, we've never seen it in that perspective. That is exact. And I told them, if you save 100 today, no difference we'll ever see. Let's say we are 2 people here. We have Joseph here and John. John is not saving anything. Joseph saves 100 today. Me and John will never see any difference. Because, I mean, can you tell somebody who has 100 and who doesn't? No difference. After 1 month, probably you cannot even see the difference. But after 8 months, 9 months, our conversation between me, Joseph, and John will change. John was not saving, Joseph was saving. Joseph has 30,000 somewhere, John has nothing. Guess what I will do? I start talking the conversation, where can I buy donkey? John is not talking about that conversation because John doesn't have money. You see the way life changes? Now I start talking about, hey, where can I buy donkey? So in most cases, if John doesn't have an idea where I can buy the donkey, then John ends up not being my friend. So I look for people who knows where we can buy these animals and do the business. I'm using donkey, figuratively to explain my point. So what happens after some times, let's say I save some cash. Now, the 100 I saved the day 1 and John didn't bring any difference. But after 1 year, the difference now is clearly seen. And in the second year, I'm thinking about buying a motorbike. John now start making me an enemy. Hey, how are you progressing? Oh, somebody is supporting you and all those kind of things. I have received all those sayings from my case. How did Joseph got out of painting? How was he? How did it happen? How it was consistency, working behind the camera like nobody's business. I always tell people, you'd rather try and never worked out rather than one day when you're all saying, I never tried. I wish I tried. Never ride on wishes. We all know if there were horses, you know who would ride them? Beautiful. This is good, Joseph. That is exactly how I got out of poverty. And guess what? Still pushing. Still trying to impose this message to people. Trying to change. I may not change all of you. I may not convince all of you. Not all of you follow this message. Many were called, but few were chosen. So ask yourself, was this video yours or somebody else? That is Joseph for you. And by the way, don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe and leave a comment on the comment section. Let's discuss. If there's a way you got out of poverty, please tell us on the comment section. Probably some people here may learn from each other and be of benefit. That's my number. Pick it up there, shoot me a text or call, and let's talk business. See you there.